In May, whispers began that there was a feud directly between Cruz and Brooklyn. So Cruz had been apparently calling up all of the family's usual restaurants and asking whether Brooklyn was going to be there on the night that he was intending to an event. And so he would call and say, is Brooklyn going to be there? And would also ask the staff to let him know if his older brother was going to be in attendance and therefore he wouldn't go. And this is the first time we've sort of started to see a direct argument between the two brothers.
He was their hero. And then he stopped speaking to them. Romeo and Cruz Beckham watched their brother disappear, not from fame, but from family. What really made Brooklyn cut the cord? Would you stay loyal to your parents or your brother? Imagine calling ahead to make sure your own brother won't be in the same room. For Cruz, that was reality. The youngest Beckham sons were once inseparable. Same football pitch, same family holidays, same grin next to dad. Then Brooklyn's silence turned selective. The calls weren't about hate, they were about avoiding scenes. When love turns unpredictable, distance becomes defense. Cruz didn't want headlines or confrontation, he wanted peace. But in families this public, silence still makes noise. Each missed dinner, each untagged photo deepened the gap. David and Victoria felt the fracture. But for the brothers, it wasn't politics, it was heartbreak. It's not betrayal when it hurts both sides.
It was also revealed in May that there had been a long-standing bubbling argument going on between Romeo and Brooklyn. They'd been incredibly close when they were children, but then when it came to the big D-Day, the wedding between Nicola Peltz and Brooklyn, Nicola had refused to speak to Romeo's then girlfriend Mia Regan, who was also a model and was incredibly beautiful, and Nicola felt quite threatened by her presence being there.
For Romeo, the split hit differently. He idolized Brooklyn, copied his haircut, wore his shirts, followed his playlists. Then a wedding turned into a divide. When Nicola froze out his girlfriend, it wasn't just snobbery, it was a signal that not everyone from the old life was welcome. Suddenly, the brother who once defended family boundaries was enforcing someone else's. Romeo didn't lose Brooklyn in a fight, he lost him in silence. Watching your sibling become a stranger while the world watches is its own kind of grief. Every post that left him out confirmed what words didn't. The hardest part isn't anger, it's being replaced.
So you've got this ongoing feud with Romeo and Brooklyn, which had just come to the surface in May, as the Mail revealed. And then you've sort of got signs of Cruz, who'd remained quite quiet throughout the whole thing, starting to show his discomfort with his brother. Cruz, who's a budding musician, shared his new song on Instagram, and everyone piled in the comment section, as they like to do to the Beckham children, calling him a nepo baby, which Cruz ignored. But there was one particular comment which he picked up on, and that was when someone said, are you going to stick with this job, or are you going to become a race car driver next or something? Cruz then deflects the criticism onto his brother Brooklyn and says, wrong brother, mate. So now you've got this sort of catfight between the brothers coming to the surface within the social media comments.
They've now blocked Brooklyn, the pair of them, according to Brooklyn's. And the only one really that he hasn't had a fallout with is little Harper.
That one comment said everything. Wrong brother. Short, sarcastic, tired. It wasn't malice. It was exhaustion. Online, it read like shade. Offline, it sounded like surrender. Blocking Brooklyn wasn't revenge. It was the only boundary left to draw. When your family's drama becomes public property, sometimes the mute button is mercy. David and Victoria could hide behind PR statements, but Cruz and Romeo had to live the feud in real time, watching strangers pick sides between siblings. Cutting off contact wasn't pettiness, it was self-protection. Love doesn't vanish, it just goes offline.
So July comes around and the third sibling takes center stage, that being Harper 7. It was her 14th birthday coming up, and if Brooklyn was going to ignore that, that would be the final straw for the Beckhams, particularly for Romeo and Cruz, who are incredibly protective over her. The big day rolls around. Brooklyn does indeed wish her a happy birthday, but it's incredibly pointed and obviously very crafted. So what you have here is a simple picture of Brooklyn, Harper, and he's made sure to get Nicola in the picture as well, so that there's no question towards his alliances in this whole scenario. And it's actually a picture taken from the last known picture actually of Brooklyn and his younger sister, who he was incredibly close with at at Victoria Beckham's fashion show in September.
Brooklyn was like not just a big brother to Harper, but like almost like a kind of little dad figure, because he was 14 when she was born, and David was playing football away a lot. So he was kind of this, male figure, much older male figure in her life, and she adored him, as did Nicola, or at least she pretended to. So Nicola would, pose up with Harper like she was her big sister, and she was a big sister that Harper never had. Obviously, Harper hasn't got any big sisters. So they made a real big deal about her. So it was like, oh, now they're in a bit of a quandary. Do they post or do they not? As the day grew nearer, it was like, oh my God. And David and Victoria were worried because, of course, they've got Harper's feelings to think about here. And, she's obviously really upset that she doesn't see her biggest brother anymore.
For Romeo and Cruz, that photo hurt more than the absence. Harper's birthday was sacred, their last connection to Brooklyn's softer side. Seeing him turn it into optics confirmed what they feared. The family bond had become branding. The image wasn't a bridge, it was a billboard. They didn't see a brother celebrating his sister. They saw a message. Loyalty now comes with conditions. The unfollows that came afterward weren't impulsive. They were quiet acknowledgments that the brother they knew had chosen a different stage. Sometimes love still exists, it just can't coexist. From the outside, the Beckham feud looks like celebrity gossip. But for Romeo and Cruz, it's the story of losing a brother while pretending everything's fine. Their family built an empire on unity, and now that unity is gone. They didn't pick sides for fame, they picked silence for survival. Watching Brooklyn's life unfold through screens isn't just sad, it's symbolic. It's the cost of a family that grew up in front of cameras, trying to learn privacy too late. They didn't lose a brother, they lost the version of him who still came home.